crash, the first thing that we do is we go out to the scene of the accident and we try to determine, is there something on the road? Is there something on the median? Is there something on the shoulder of the road? Is there something in the bank the vehicle traveled down or rolled down that caused it to trip or to roll over? Certain types of vehicles are not designed effectively and have a defect that actually causes them, when they encounter a typical roadway surface, they actually start to roll over anyway. The other thing that we look for immediately is the vehicle itself. And if the vehicle has been preserved, and that's something we need in every case because that's key evidence for us, then we go out and we actually measure, take pictures, take videotape, and actually physically look at the dimensions of the vehicle itself. We look at the tires, we look at the roof, we look at the internal components, including the seat belts and other safety features of the vehicle. And then we actually do what's called a download of the electronic data recorder to determine what electronic information is available for the vehicle. That information can tell us whether, for example, the vehicle was being driven at the speed limit, whether the person that we represent or the people in the car were wearing their seatbelts, whether the airbag or airbags deployed as they're supposed to. And in fact, we can determine whether there was braking before, during, or after the accident sequence was taking place. Sometimes we can actually determine the orientation of the vehicle from the electronic data that's contained in the recorder. And so we gather all this information while we're investigating the case, and then we start to talk to the engineers. And so typically what I do is I bring with me an accident reconstruction engineer, a mechanical engineer, and a biomechanical engineer as well. And these three types of engineering specialties, they deal with what happens to a vehicle, what happens to a vehicle as it starts to roll over. What are the dynamics inside the vehicle in terms of what's happening to the passenger, what's happening to the driver, how is the driver interacting with the seatbelt or the airbag. So these are just a few of the things that we look at when we analyze a rollover. Among other things that we're looking for is to try to determine if the vehicle is unstable. And what that means is whether the vehicle is actually going to roll over on a surface and actually lose its ability to maintain steadiness on the road. The other thing we look at obviously are the tires. 4 tires are meant to keep the vehicle on the road, and if the tire has a problem, whether it be a blowout or the tire delaminates, the tread separates and comes off. Sometimes when a tread comes off, it literally wraps around the axle of the vehicle, making the vehicle impossible to steer in a straight line or to correct. Another thing we look for is in the roadway itself, we look for what are called yaw marks, or marks that the tires leave on the roadway as the vehicle is actually trying to recover, or while the driver is trying to get the vehicle back in a straight line in the lane where they were traveling. So that information, as well as parts of the vehicle that may be left over on the roadway, we take measurements of the roadway, we look at guardrails, we look at different aspects of the highway or the road where the accident occurred, and we just try to go back in time and try to recreate or reconstruct the accident so that we understand what occurred. While we're doing that, we're looking at every aspect of the vehicle. And I always find that the best thing to do is to look at the product, to look at the scene, to go back and talk with any witnesses that happen to be there at the time or who happen to see the accident, or any witnesses who happen to talk to the passengers or the driver of the cars. So those are things that we do when we try to gather evidence and investigate the accident so that we can find out what happened.